Floyd Mayweather really does bring in the big bucks. A very warm welcome and a sunny welcome to our second countdown of this terrific fight week here in the heart of Vegas. You took your time coming, didn't you? I mean, hello.
You left me. You're not shaking me that easy. Couldn't even get on a plane, it was that full of fans. So I managed to get it as a stowaway.
I had a good replacement.
Yeah, don't be trying to steal my job, Paulie. You're fighting on the 29th. You've even jumped training camp.
I have, but I couldn't miss this for the world. I don't think anybody could.
Absolutely not. It's a sensational super fight, isn't it? And our historian, Bob Mee, reflects on where Mayweather-Pacquiao stands in the sport's rich heritage.
Against the now familiar and entirely appropriate backdrop of the Las Vegas Strip, Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao will bring us the richest fight in boxing history. It serves up the strange blend of drama, sporting excellence and flamboyance that is a part of the attraction of a huge boxing event. But it's the sheer amount of money it will generate that lends an almost surreal touch. Mayweather and Pacquiao will split an estimated $200 million. The whole promotion is likely to be worth double that.
Make a little money, make a little love, get a little help from the Lord above.
Yet it's not even 2 years since Mayweather and Saul Alvarez met in the first fight to gross $150 million. And before that, it was Floyd's 2007 battle with Oscar de la Hoya that broke all records by drawing what at the time seemed the phenomenal sum of $136 million. The boxing business has had the capacity to astonish since the legendary Tex Rickard grabbed the imagination of fans way back in 1906 by stacking a pile of gold bars in a shop window to promote a world title fight between Joe Gans and Battling Nelson. It was also Rickard who promoted the first of the $1 Million Gates in 1921 when Georges Carpentier challenged Jack Dempsey. Occasionally big fights like the politically laden 1938 rematch between Joe Louis and Max Schmeling have transcended boxing. Mostly, however, it's about hard cash. Eventually the pay-per-view era brought the escalating rewards of the last 20 years. Evander Holyfield and the 40-something George Foreman reaped a record $80 million in 1991. That was surpassed by Mike Tyson's first fight out of jail in 1995 against Peter McNeely that hauled in $96 million. That's more than $1 million for every second the mismatch lasted. Tyson's infamous bike fight return with Holyfield was the first to go through the 100 million barrier. Mayweather has now earned more than $400 million in his career, making him, of course, the highest paid athlete in the world. Pacquiao has also generated vast wealth in his long career that has seen him hold recognised world titles in 6 weight divisions. And now at last, they come together in the fight we and the boxing business have been waiting for so long.
Yes, it's huge business and shows just how much boxing has come and grown, especially here in Vegas. We caught up with Pacquiao's promotional stalwarts, Top Rank.
This fight is very, very big, and certainly in this century, 15 years that we're in, it's the biggest fight.
The live gate record is $22 million for a boxing match, and this is going to be over $70 million for 16,000 seats. I think it averages $4,500 a ticket, and nobody is blinking.
When Ali and Fraser fought, there were no domestic satellites. The signal had to be distributed with telephone company long lines. We barely could reach 400 locations.
I think the international projection I had was I was targeting Lewis and Tyson, which I felt was the biggest. It was the biggest international fight, grossing fight in my recent memory, and this is going to surpass that by a multiple.
And in addition, we have something now known as social media, with the tweeting and the Instagrams and communicating with millions of people just by pressing a key. That's all new. And that's what's fueling the amazing response to this fight.
Absolutely fascinating, isn't it? And 150 countries from around the world are taking this fight. The access, Johnny, these days is extraordinary.
Listen, 3/4 of the world's population could possibly watch this fight. It's a modern era, isn't it?
It's incredible. The technology age has really become a booming thing for boxing, and not just boxing, all sporting events in general. But for a big fight like this, it can get into people's living rooms, it can get into countries that maybe before wouldn't have access to something like this. At this point, it's become like the World Cup.
4 of the top 10 grossing fights, Mayweather and Pacquiao, have been involved with them. Amazing.
Amazing, and it goes to show you their immense popularity, and not just for the fact that they're such good fighters, but also the fact that they've become this popular sensation among their fans. They've got this cult fan favorites. You know, the Mayweather fans are a lot different than the Pacquiao fans, but yet together it becomes this booming dynamite stick. And I think the possibilities of this fight breaking all those selling records is very probable, I would say.
Well, Mayweather, you'd expect this from the heavyweights or even the middleweights, but Mayweather has grossed 400 million so far.
Yeah, and it used to be unheard of for a non-heavyweight to make that kind of money.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already surpassed guys like Tyson and Holyfield, who were estimated at about 300 million. Granted, you have the inflation of the market, so maybe he hasn't exactly made the kind of money Tyson or Holyfield made, but just for a non-heavyweight, a welterweight fighter, a welterweight champion to make 400 million in his career, he's his own sporting franchise. It's not just an individual anymore. It's incredible.
It stands to break US pay-per-view records, of course, as well. 2.4 million for De La Hoya, 2.2 for Alvarez. I think the over-under line here, Paulie, at the bookies is 3.2. So they're expecting 3.2, $100 a pop, 320 million from a US TV audience.
That's just the expected. You don't know if it will go
Yeah.
over. You don't know about the income from tickets, which have been through the roof as well, and all the other things that go into the marketing and that will bring in income from this fight. This fight will grow so much money. I expect that. I don't think the record will be broken for a long time in boxing.
Ticket prices are absolutely crazy as well. Listen, I struggle to sell tickets at £100 a piece. These tickets are going
Top
for what?
sportsmen can't get in, I don't
Yeah,
think.
they can't.
They're celebrities.
The demand has been incredible, and the ticket prices show that. I mean, there are ticket prices that cost more than some people's homes.
Oh,
It's incredible. Who buys these? The sheiks? I mean, who does? Who buys these? Who can afford these?
And Floyd Mayweather's let the promotion just talk for itself. We've hardly had a sighting, but one very fortunate British fighter has managed to prize his way inside the fortress of Team Mayweather.
It's fight week in Las Vegas. We come here to watch the champ train, and I'm here preparing for my world title fight myself. The boxing news have dubbed me the Welsh Mayweather. I wouldn't like to tell Floyd that though, but yeah, I tried to copy what I can of him, and I did to my game. We've been here many times sparring. It can get quite hostile, especially if I'm sparring someone from the gym, like the other guys in the gym. I come around the ring banging the canvas and stuff, so it could be intimidating for some people. But it's a great experience. It takes you out of your comfort zone, and that's where you need to be a good fighter, a great fighter.
Everyone's there to impress Mayweather, and everyone's just looking to get on those shows and be in his team.
When they kick everybody out, we get to watch him spar, get to watch him train, and it's a great inspiration.
What makes him a special fighter?
Everything. He's just great all around, and he's probably one of the best ever.
I would say Mayweather nullify Pacquiao the early rounds, come on strong, maybe even a late stoppage.
Before I seen him head to head, I thought Pacquiao would give him a fight, but there's such a big size difference, so I'm going to pick Mayweather with a late KO.
What a lucky man, Lee Selby, because they have closed shop. It's that serious.
Adam, the stakes are that high. Secrecy is everything. You'd understand why these guys don't want to give anything away.
Well, at this point, you're tapering down the training camp. You're making those final decisions as to what exactly the game plan will be. Through the course of camp, you go through different game plans, different ideas as to what you might want to do in the fight, what you might not want to do. Or over the course of sparring and training, at times you see what works really well, and so maybe some things you thought might work really well won't work. And so you kind of adapt the game plan and adjust it. And by the time fight week gets there, you've finalized the game plan as to what you intend to do in the ring. And at that point is when things are really most secretive, because you don't want anybody to know that final game plan.
And they finally let the cameras inside the gym, but can we really feed much off that?
No, not really. I think fight week public workouts and things like that, they're kind of just for show, and the fighters are kind of just shaking themselves out a little bit just for the fans to see, get a glimpse of them. But it's nothing serious as far as training is concerned. As a matter of fact, they probably do that workout, and then when the cameras leave, they do their real workout.
Yeah, you couldn't get in, could you, to see Pacquiao when we were there a few weeks ago?
It was that hard, and they're cool with us. Downstairs it was locked down. Not even the guys in the Pacquiao's gym can actually go in and watch him.
Yeah, I mean, the demand is incredible. I mean, it's just been this way throughout the whole promotion for the whole fight, and it's going to continue to be this way. And so the camps have to start locking things down now.
Yeah, the eyes of the world, of course, upon this fight, and plenty of pressure too. The Nevada officials are under as much as that of anyone. After the break, a peek at their meticulous preparations, and it's really interesting too. Welcome back. Johnny, Paulie and I are in the centre of the city of entertainment. The centrepiece, of course, this weekend, Mayweather Pacquiao. We hope it's a great fight to remember, but plenty of people are under pressure, including the Nevada Athletic State Commission, who are really under the spotlight to get it right on the night.
Well, the big fight is just 7 days away, and we're in the northern outskirts of Las Vegas in front of the Richard Steele Foundation, set up by the Hall of Fame referee. There's a gym inside of there, a charity car wash going on outside, but what's really interesting is inside of there, the Nevada State Athletic Commission's top officials have all met up to discuss all the possibilities and things they have to worry about and consider ahead of the big fight on May the 2nd. Kenny Bayless, who has the honour of refereeing Mayweather Pacquiao, is among those in attendance, and they are using a couple of local amateurs to go through their seminar, discussing various relevant concerns, like what happens if a knockdown is caused when feet get tangled, as often happens with a southpaw against an orthodox fighter, how to treat punches on the bell, and some obscure scenarios like when a competitor is fouled, the doctor says he's fine to continue, but then the boxer himself says he's unable to go on. It's been fascinating to eavesdrop.
So I explained that boxing is like tennis. If it's on the line, it's fair. So in this case, the punch came at the bow. Ding! So it's fair. That's why I called it a knockdown.
There's really so much riding on this fight. The whole world is watching. There can't be any controversy. And we were also lucky enough to speak to Richard Steele and get his take on the super fight.
Okay, I spoke to both fighters in the dressing room. I'm cautioning them again. Obey my commands at all times. Shake hands, good luck.
Tell us about the pressures of being involved in a super fight like this.
Well, a super fight like this as a referee, man, is the most intense job that I ever had in my life. You must give each fighter a chance, and you know what type of fight each fighter wants to perform. If it's too much unnecessarily holding, then you have to step in and warn the fighters and tell them, hey, do not hold, let's box, let's fight, let's make it interesting.
You work with so many big names, so many great fighters like Hagler and Hearns when they fought in Las Vegas.
Hagler and Hearns for 30 years was voted the best fight of the century. But I have a feeling that this fight could, and it's the only fight in the last 30 years that could oversee the fight that I did with Hagler and Hearns. I had a wonderful 30 years, and after being retired, I got my ring as the International Boxing Hall of Famer. So, I'm complete. I'm very happy with what I've done. So, I'm just going to watch this fight and enjoy it.
What do you think of Kenny Bayless, the referee? He's well respected.
I have trained Kenny, and so one of my proteges becomes one of the top referees in the world, where he gets nominated for doing the biggest fight ever in history. I'm very proud of Kenny and the job that he has done.
Introducing Pretty Boy.
You have refereed Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao, so you know both camps very well. So how do you break down the fight for us?
Well, I think Floyd, I think he's just too big compared to Pacquiao. So, I think his size and also his speed is going to give Pacquiao a lot of trouble.
Richard Steele will call it off.
How highly do you rate Floyd, assuming he beats Manny Pacquiao?
I would rate him as the best. Best fighter pound for pound ever.
The famous Caesar's Palace, 30 years ago since Hagler Hearns. Richard Steele, the man in the middle. Great to hear from him.
Oh, of course it is, but there's going to be pressure not just on the fighters, but for the referee to get the job right.
Yeah, you know, a lot of pressure because you don't want the end of the night to come up and you're the topic of the conversation as the referee or things that you've done. You want people to end this night talking about what a great fight it's been or something that has nothing to do with the officials, be it the judges or the referee. So the referee is a really big responsibility here, not to be too involved, but at the same time be just involved enough if he needs to be.
We can talk contrasting fights. Joe Cortez, he refereed Mayweather, Hatton. People complained he didn't let the fight flow. Every time Hatton got in close and grabbed in, Mayweather complained, the referee jumped in.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of times there will be controversies like that. You know, a lot of times it's just styles. You know, some guys are tougher to referee than others. Ricky had a very physical style, so it forces you to make a decision as to when is the right time to break up a fighter like that? When is not the right time to break up a fighter like that? Sometimes guys getting close, they're not really working, so you can break them quicker. Sometimes you get a guy like Ricky who wants to get in and he wants to stay there. So how much is too long before you break because it's just a clinch, or how much is not long enough because he wants to work in there?
And Kenny Bayless let them flow, didn't he, with Mayweather and De La Hoya? Freddie Roach was happy about that.
Yeah, and Kenny did let them flow. You know, maybe people have complaints about the Kenny refereeing style with the Maidana rematch, and I myself did as well because Maidana's only chance was to be inside. But with the De La Hoya fight, you know, he did let them flow and he did let them fight inside. Here's the thing, Johnny. Manny Pacquiao is not an inside fighter. He's not even physically strong enough to fight on the inside with Floyd Mayweather. So that kind of tactic, I don't think is something we're going to see on the inside anyway.
Well, show me. Pacquiao southpaw, you've studied, you understand Mayweather's style. What are the ups and downs of this?
Well, Pacquiao's southpaw, and he gives you a lot of head movement. He gives you that rhythm.
Does it come in at angles?
It comes in at different angles. Floyd is not going to just stay here where all the head movement is going to allow him. Floyd is going to stay just outside of there where all Pacquiao's head movement, despite all of it, he's going to have to find a way to get in. And Floyd from here will find his spots to pick in and step out. But regardless of that, all Pacquiao's head movement can be confusing, especially especially if you're a flat-footed fighter. All this head movement, because Pacquiao will give it to you, and then he'll fly in. What Floyd does that other fighters don't do, he won't be in range to be mesmerized by it. He'll force you just a half step out. He'll force you to give you all that, but regardless, it's not dangerous unless you find a way in. And therefore, Pacquiao has to find a way in without jumping in.
Does Pacquiao have the pace to do that now? That's the big issue.
That's the issue because all the head movement makes you tired. You want to have the activity, you want to have the head movement, but all that is very, very tiring. That pace is very, very tiring, especially if you're not effective, and especially if Floyd from out here picks his spots to pot shot you. You know, he throws those little right hands from out here. You know, he'll control you in different ways. Yeah, you know, you'll jump. Say you jump this way.
Yeah.
Regardless, you still have to cut distance. That's the thing what Floyd does so well. Floyd controls that range very well. So regardless of all this, to be effective, you still have to step into Floyd's range. While Floyd from here has those little pot shot right hands that he loves to use against southpaws, and they're very effective. But he's not giving you enough to where he's stepping in and he's engaging enough for you to counter him. So it's a tricky situation for Pacquiao because he's going to have to do all of that, but he's still going to have to find a creative way to go from here to here where he can be dangerous. At the same time, he's not a physical guy. So once he's here, Pacquiao is what I call an in and out fighter. He's in and he's out. He's not going to be in and then stay here. So the whole thing about breaking with Kenny Bayless and is he going to break them, is he going to let them fight, I don't think it applies here because Pacquiao's not that kind of physical fighter. As a matter of fact, I don't even think he's physically strong enough to be on the inside with Mayweather. He wants to be in and he wants to be out. Ideally, that's his fight. Bayless has the responsibility here to watch the feet. It's a southpaw versus a right-hander. You always got to watch the feet. Sometimes they get tripped. And sometimes Pacquiao has been known with the jumping in, there's clashes of heads. So you got to watch for that too. Because Pacquiao jumping in with a right-hander and a southpaw, you always have to deal with possible clashes of heads. When one of them jumps in, there's even more possibility of clashes of heads. And we've seen that at times in Pacquiao's career, there's been clashes of heads. So there's some responsibility for Kenny Bayless, but I don't think it's anything he can't handle. He's been on the big stage, and he's refereed so many big fights with no complaints. The Maidana rematch was the first time there was ever a complaint, and I don't think the style in this fight applies to that situation.
Super stuff, Paulie. More tactical analysis coming all through the week, more countdowns, and then this weekend, we're live and exclusive on Sky Sports Box Office. Two of the brightest world champions in Vasyl Lomachenko and Leo Santa Cruz also star on a star-studded night. For connected Sky customers, the easiest way to book Mayweather v Pacquiao is with your remote control. Simply go to channel 491 if you're an SD customer and 492 for those with HD. Booking with your remote is the only way to add the event to your Sky planner, and you will then only be charged if you watch it. Cable customers should contact your operator. Just finally, the fighters are here and momentum is gathering.
This place is crazy. Trucks are rolling in left, right and centre. Pacquiao's in the Mandalay Bay. He's probably taking the whole floor. Mayweather, home from home, in the MGM with his posse.
Well, he's got his posse, and he travels with a large posse, and he's got a big group of fans in Las Vegas, being he's lived here for so long. Pacquiao has the traveling legion of Filipinos and the traveling legion of fans in general. They've invaded the Mandalay Bay, so it's getting hotter each day. It's getting the buzz is growing. It's crazy each day, and I think it's going to come to a crescendo on Saturday night.
Some atmosphere it's going to be, isn't it?
I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Thank you very much to Paulie and to Johnny. It's always so good, isn't it, in sport when the best are up against the best.
The stamp on his greatness. Oh, beautiful punch!